In this first of 2 lessons, you'll learn how to access external storage from your Android apps. In this first lesson, we'll look at a number of setup functions. In the second lesson, we'll look at how to create and delete these files. Every Android-compatible device supports a shared external storage that you can use to save files. This can be removable storage media such as an SD card or non-removable storage inside the mobile device. Files saved to external storage are world-readable and can be modified by the user when they enable USB mass storage to transfer files to a computer. We're going to look at code to do this in an API demo. In the API demos worksheet in line 100, there's a demo external storage in the content primary group under the storage secondary group. So let's fire it up in the emulator. We'll click Content, Storage, External Storage. And we see 3 sets of buttons. The top set creates a public picture, the middle a private picture, and the bottom a private file. When you click the Create button, it creates the file, and the Delete button deletes it. Now this will make more sense as we get into the code, so let's do it. In the Content Source folder, we'll open External Storage. And line 49 declares our external storage activity. Line 50 declares a layout variable for a screen display. 52 through 55 define a class for the layout for each group of items in each row of our layout. 58 through 60 declare 3 items, 1 for each row. 63 through 119 define our onCreate method. Line 66 uses the setContentView to initialize our display using the external storage layout. So if we open that, lines 17 to 20 define a scroll view, and lines 22 through 26 define a linear layout within the scroll view, and it has an ID of layout. Back in our source, line 67 sets the InLaApr variable to our linear layout. 68 through 84 use the create storage controls method defined below that we'll look at in a minute to create the layout and set up listeners for the top row of buttons. Lines 85 through 100 do this for the middle row of buttons. 101 through 116 do it for the bottom row of buttons. Line 118 uses the start watching external storage method defined below to set up a broadcast receiver, and we'll look at this method in a minute. Line 121 through 125 use the onDestroy method to stop the broadcast receiver. 127 through 137 define the handle external storage state method that modifies the status of our external storage files. 128 through 130 set the status for the external public picture. 131 through 133 set the status for the external private picture, and 134 through 136 set the status for the external private file. Line 140 declares a broadcast receiver variable. 141 and 142 declare variables for storage status. 144 through 156 define the update external storage state method. 145 defines a string for the storage state using the Android get external storage state method. Lines 146, 148, and 151 perform status tests. Lines 147, 149, 150, 152, 154, and 155 set storage availability and writability status based on these tests. Lines 158 through 171 define the start watching external storage method that sets up a broadcast receiver. Line 163 sets the update external storage state method to be invoked when the broadcast is received. 166 through 169 set up the parameters of the broadcast receiver to respond to media being mounted or removed. And you might want to review our lesson on broadcast receivers for more background on this. Line 170 updates the external storage state, and 173 through 174 define the stop watching external storage method that unregisters the broadcast receiver. That's the end of our first of 2 lessons on external storage. Let's move on to part 2.